Right, let's go through this amp, guys. Been a few changes since I received it. Now, functionally, the features that Joel requested were 2 master volumes, okay, on the amp, which are foot switchable. So this is why we have this relay here. And at the same time, switching in and out the José gain stage, right? So drilled right in here, as we know, right, is the extra José gain stage. It's a gain stage out front. And this relay here is allowing that gain stage to be switched in and out. So when the gain stage is out, we basically have a stock plexi, albeit with, a master volume. But when this master's on 10, then, and we just use the volume here, say on the treble channel, it's a straight up 50 watt plexi circuit. So what actually happens is, the reason we have 2 master volumes is because when we, Joel can basically set this up with a high gain and a low gain mode, and each of the modes has its own master volume, so you can balance the volumes out with the extra gain stage in. So just in terms of voicing, I actually went through this on the live stream last week. I'll put a link to that in the video now, but we're actually going to show the schematic. Basically change the setup of the plate resistor and the B plus supply for this José gain stage, right? It was on the board here. And then this pot here was already here. This is adjusting the amount of gain coming from that first stage before it hits the rest of the amp. And I've changed this. This was a 2.2 nanofarad. This is now 1 nanofarad. And from here, we head into this relay here, right? And this relay is switching between the output of the first stage or just the guitar input. And then that's then fed into the regular gain stage here. When I say regular, I mean the old V1, what would have been V1 in this amp before it was originally modded. So when the input hits what was V1, we have the 68K divider here, standard Marshall, right? You can see I've moved that to 82K. Again, I talked about that on the live stream and why. I tuned it by ear. 68K with the 1 meg pot there as well. I just thought it was a bit lean. That fattens it up nicely. And then this amp had a 0.022 coupler here out of that stage. So that's 0.0022 as well. And I will say the coupler on the José stage was already 0.0022. So we're keeping the bass under control in the early part of this amp. I've replaced the normal pot here with a push-pull arrangement so that this allows you to jumper the normal channel in without the need of a jumper cable, because these 2 jacks in the amp are disabled. Well, I've actually reused this one here for the foot switch, because this is now a foot switchable amp. So that, saved having to drill another hole into this thing. So the guitar input is only here, but you can still jumper the channels now, right? That feature was not there. What else have I done? I put a 0.68 bypass across the cathode on what was V2A. It's across, it's a 1K cathode on this amp. So that's there, adds a nice bit of sizzle. Adjusted the voltages here, right? So that's a 10K dropper and 6.2K. This gets the phase inverter supply node at about 320 odd, maybe 330 volts. It was running a bit high. I think that was a 10K, and then that was just completely bypassed. And I changed the presence cap. This is it was a 0.68 in the amp. One of these kind of grey box caps was on here. Didn't like the sound of it. Took me a while to find it, right? I was like playing with this amp, trying to get the voicing to where I like it, and changing that presence to 0.1 was really the last piece of the puzzle. Hidden in here, well, it's not hidden, but shown here is I have a depth circuit, but a very mild one. right? It's a 68k resistor with a 4700 picofarad. Often when you see this, you'll see a 220k resistor with a 220k resistor with a 4700 picofarad. Making that resistor smaller is just like having a depth pot and turning it down. Yeah, so a little bit of depth in this amp. Let's go and have a look at just the other end of the amp here, because I just want to show you what I've done in terms of setting up a supply for these relays. Okay, so just down here, this is a really simple, very small power transformer. It is 240 on one side on the primary, and on the secondary we have 4.50, 4.5. So it's, 9 volts center tapped. It's only 150 milliamp rated. So you certainly cannot run heaters off a little PT like this. However, it's great for a relay supply. So this little board I've got here in the sidewall of the chassis is a bridge rectifier setup with a smoothing cap. And with my 9 volts AC bridge rectified, I've got about 12.5 volts DC, which is just perfect for switching my 12 volt relays. So straight out of here, we're running through the back of the, along the back edge of the chassis and creating a supply for the relays. So what we were listening to at the beginning, guys, was actually a quad Cortex capture of the 1987X José mod. And I have uploaded 3 captures of the amp along with the preset that I used for this actual clip at the beginning. And you can see, if I just quickly whiz through photos of my quad Cortex here, I'm using the No Zenas number 3 capture of the amp. It's a DI capture, right? No cab. And I'm using the stock Brit TV Greenback 75 Hz 69 built-in cab on the quad Cortex, and I'm using a room reverb. You can see it there, and I've got in a parallel path, I've got the dual delay set, and this is set at a mix of 100 because I'm using the mixer on the parallel path, where I'm only bringing in, well, I've got the parallel path set at minus 15.6 decibels. And here's the hand-drawn schematic as used in the live stream, which I've already linked to in the video. I know it's hand-drawn, I know it's rough, I don't care. It gives you what you need, right? If you want to kind of follow the voicing or get an idea of the kind of the voicing changes that I went with for these tones, this will tell you all you need to know. I've also got a hand-drawn schematic for this switching, which is kind of arguably the most complex part of this whole mod, was getting the switching to work the way I wanted it to work. I will post that on my website under the mods section. Put a link to that in the video description. Do check it out. Hope you enjoyed the clips, guys, and I'll see you next time.